Roll it.
Oh, yeah. 3 pre-rolls today, starting with Tommy John. Elevate your morning every morning with Tommy John Second Skin Underwear. Get 20% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. Save 20% on Second Skin at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. TommyJohn.com/JRVP. See site for details. I got them on right now. When I take that Tommy John off, I want you to take a second to talk about sex. Is that all right with you? You been having any sex recently? Go to usejoymode.com and you get 20% off with the code JRVP at checkout. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code JRVP at usejoymode.com. Finally, this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JRVP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JRVP. 3 pre-rolls for our triumphant return to the studio. Just a prelude to a heartwarming kink, a misguided amputation, and some human skin bookbinding, all coming up in episode 241 of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project.
JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
We clapping. I put the headphones on there and you won. Even though I can't hear myself.
It's a little low today. But yeah, you said you were going to wear the headphones today because your hair looks so good you didn't want to mess with it.
My hair looks so good I didn't want to put a hat on. And then I always wear a hat when I have to wear headphones. And then
I thought it was going to be a whole bit for the episode that I had to tell you what Aaron was going to say.
As soon as the podcast started and I didn't hear Aaron say, go for it, I was like, fuck. I'm not getting the full JRVP experience by not wearing the headphones. So I said, fuck it. Let me throw them on over the hair. I don't know what's going on today in the studio. I don't know what this table's doing.
It's been there the whole time.
I don't like it. I feel like there's a bunch of things like sticking out of it.
This is an aggravated Anthony performance today. From the minute you walked into the studio, you know, I do want to find out what your quote is. Is that just a Beyonce?
It's Beyonce.
Yeah. Okay.
In my first ever Beyonce album that I listened to, like front to back. I've never done it before. Again, I didn't know many songs. I saw the concert. Her last concert was like, that's amazing. Even though it wasn't like the music's amazing. I was like, she's amazing. But this album, I put on the morning it came out. I was like, I'll listen to this, and there's some bangers on there. There's a couple.
Lemonade's a classic. I'm kind of with you. I'm under versed in the Beyonce catalog, but Lemonade is incredible.
I guess I never really listened to. I didn't care. And this one, I'm not sure how much I care, but I like a few of the songs. There's one song that I put on repeat, which is like Bucket, which is like Bucket.
Yes,
that song has been on repeat so much that I know my Spotify rap is going to be like, you really like that song, Anthony. That's all you listen to. It's a little embarrassing, but I'm into it. So yeah, we clapping.
That's awesome at your age to finally not be racist. Yeah.
You know, I like to think of Beyonce as white. That's how I think about it. Do what you want, but she's white to me. We had last week off, kind of. We had the mailbag. So I wanted to recap last weekend shows. I had last weekend off. The weekend before, I was in Portland, Maine, Providence, Rhode Island, New York, and Newark, New Jersey. All the shows were great. It was fun. I was in Providence. My friend Kumail Nanjiani was shooting a movie in Providence. So we get to come to the show and have dinner afterwards. That was nice. But my favorite was Portland, Maine. We're in this giant old theater in Portland, Maine. And it's where like the people in Portland, Maine have like their high school graduations in this theater. It's like it's used for everything. And half the staff is volunteer. And I remember like I'm doing the show and I would just see these people and they all wear white shirts. It's really old women wearing white shirts, standing in the aisles, looking fucking horrified at what I'm doing. Like they had no idea they were there for a comedy show and were so like just like stunned by what I was doing.
Was it a tour group?
Was it a tour group?
Well, why are they in white shirts?
They were volunteers who worked at the theater. Okay. I know I'm in a bad mood when that made me angry. That made me so mad I had to take a beat. I forgive you for not paying attention to the beginning of the story.
You shouldn't.
Some people in theaters they're paid to be there, and they're professionals. When they're volunteers, they can be a little stunned by the material. I regret bringing up the whole fucking weekend now. I'm so mad. I got the LA show at the Wiltern on Friday.
Well, I want to hear more about this. What happened?
That was it. The whole fucking point of the story was that it was funny to see these old people really freaked out by me. And I could see them all because they were wearing white shirts in the audience. And then you got in the way of the story. Aaron, were you paying attention?
Yeah.
You followed it front to back.
Yeah, people in white, distracting.
I was distracted by some sort of sound issue that was going on. I was trying to fix, but this is what happened.
Show at the Wiltern this Friday. You probably can't get tickets anymore because everyone's hitting me up for them, including Gregg and Aaron. But it's going to be a fun show. I'm going to get some sleep between now and then, and it's going to be good. Went to the Dodgers home opener. Aaron, have you seen a Dodgers game yet?
Only on television.
Only on TV. Yeah, you were going to go, Sunday? And then
Saturday.
Thought it would get rained out.
Yeah, Saturday I thought would rain out.
I went Thursday. Home opener, was very excited. Had great seats. And then it felt like someone had a magnifying glass reflecting the sun on the back of my neck for 3 hours. Oof. It was brutal, these seats. 1 p.m. game. It was very hot. And then I loved the game. It was amazing. Got to see Shohei knock a double, his first at bat, and then get out on his way to third, which was fine. Still happy to see him. And then lost my goddamn mind trying to leave the parking lot. Took me 2.5 hours to get out of there. The game lasted 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Wow.
I was pissed.
That's crazy.
Pissed. Almost as mad as I am right now. I'll talk about something I like. Dave Attell's new special. I assume you haven't seen it, Gregg?
No.
You're just trying to get through this at this point. That's fine. Dave Attell's new special is amazing. I talked about Roy Scovel's special being amazing a couple weeks ago. It is. Special of the year is Dave Attell. I think at the end of the year, it'll be me and then Dave Attell. I watched it twice.
I mean, Rory got such a big pop from you last week, and now he's just been passed.
Rory, this is like the best Rory's ever done, his special. I was like, it's great to see my friend getting better and better. Dave Attell's been a legend for 30 years, and this special is incredible. It's him doing real material, not like he did bumping mics. He did a special on Comedy Central a few years ago. There was more like you come back from the commercial break, and it was just him like in a new club making fun of the club. Great, but this is like Dave Attell jokes. It's amazing. Check that out on Netflix. I saw Three Body Problem. I wanted to see Three Body Problem so bad. I heard the hype. Aaron, did you see any of it?
What is that?
It's the new, no one knows what this is. I got hit by the hype train. It's the new show from the guys who did Game of Thrones. David Benioff and whoever the fuck. And it's like a 3-novel series, like a science fiction series about an alien invasion. And I heard it's amazing. So I read the first 2 books and then watched the series. Books are good. Didn't love how the second one ended. Mm-hmm. Not sure I'm going to read the third. Didn't love the Three Body Problem series. It's like in the books, it's kind of like there's people all over the world and throughout time that they're getting to kind of fight this invasion. In the series, they make them all friends. Every character is like they all went to Oxford together. And I'm like, this is lame.
Yeah.
It's less realistic. Read the books. The only other thing I'm going to say, I'm going to let Gregg talk for the rest of the episode.
Sounds like a terrible episode.
Calm down. Is towards Milwaukee. I am a week and a half away from shooting the special. I'm excited. I'm wearing my Milwaukee Brewers starter jacket, which I pulled the tag off on my way in to the studio today. That's how seriously I'm taking this. Meanwhile, Gregg can't even be bothered to pay attention to the beginning of a story I'm telling. Right up top.
I mean, we've all had hard weeks. I just got back from vacation like late last night and taped a couple other shows early today, and so it's just been like, a lot. Kind of tired.
Coming back from Hawaii was hard?
Well, I'm just saying, I got back late and then a couple shows at the NFL today. It's like a little whiplash. There's a lot of traffic.
When you go to sleep at night, what time do you go to bed?
Last night?
Whenever. Like, what's your usual bedtime?
Like 11 probably.
Okay. What time do you wake up?
6:30.
7.5 hours of sleep. I would give anything. I would give anything.
Well, I'm a little worried. I'm going on Friday, which apparently, you're getting besieged by requests. It's annoying you. You said you had 3 on the way in here alone. So I don't know what it is, but you seem, I don't know if it's because the special's soon, because the LA show is this week, or it's just this week, but you seem on edge.
I am on edge. The special puts me on edge. It's been a day. It's been a day.
Well, what's the rest of the day?
Just waking up super early, getting up at 7. I probably got 4 hours of sleep last night, and then just had a bunch of things to do, and I had to come straight into the podcast. I've had very little to eat. I'm tired. Listen, I'm not in a bad mood. I'm happy. I'm happy my friends are reaching out to come see the show. It's going to be fun. But like, would I kill someone right now if I could get away with it? Yes, I would.
You are in a soundproof room.
Yeah, but like, if I killed Gregg, someone would find out. Like, I could make it through Friday.
Yeah.
I don't think I can make it to the special tape.
No, not towards
I think they'd probably get me at the airport. When I
Right.
fly towards Milwaukee.
Towards Milwaukee.
But like, and who else would whisper after we say the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project? JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
I could get fucking anyone to do that.
No, it's pretty tough, especially if you had me for the first half of the show, and then the second half of the show, my body is just laying there dead. People would figure it out on YouTube.
You know what I think about a lot now? You know what I've been thinking about lately? Not doing this podcast anymore. What if I just didn't have to do it? Would I be happier? Maybe. We got to think. We got to think about it. Am I run down?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Should I wait to make decisions until the tour is over in the fall? Yes, I should. But I'm just telling you. I'm not warning you. I'm not threatening anybody. But I'm thinking about it a lot. How was the vacation?
It was great. I mean, longtime listeners will know this is just playing the hits. Every once in a while, this is, a big tension of the show. Is Anthony going to be so annoyed by having to do it that it stops happening? It's really the creative tension that the whole show's about, I believe.
I mean, I
It used to be about you trying to get me fired at the
Yes.
NFL, and now it's this.
The old one was like, will Gregg lose his job because of this podcast? And now it's like, when will Anthony stop? It's not a question of if. It's when. It's will he even give us a heads up? I like all things comedy. I don't want to screw them over. I got to think I'm going to give them some runway for the ads. And of course, I'll give you, some time to put your affairs in order before it's over for you.
I mean,
But-
I think my subtext is more just, will I lose my job in general at the NFL? This job I'm less concerned about. If it comes, if it goes, it's a bonus. It's a little extra special part of my life that I've got to have for 4 or 5 years. You got to appreciate what you have.
That's what I told Liz last night when she was like, what about Gregg? I was like, he appreciates.
So you're talking
what
about
he's
it
got.
last night. That's a little more worrisome.
I listen. I think about it, and I've talked about it to Liz, and Liz said, think about it when it's over. When the tour's done, you enjoy the podcast. You'll like coming in. Right now, it is the fly in my ointment. It is the sand in my lube.
I knew it was a bad sign when before we started taping, you just said, I don't care if this show's fucking 20 minutes long.
I prefer it. I fucking prefer it. You know what? Even if we do an hour and 10 or whatever, Aaron, cut it off at 20 and then just fucking hit send. No title this week. Fucking deal with it.
That's your title. Hawaii was great.
Hawaii was great. Great weather.
I mean, yeah, it's Hawaii, so it rains a little bit in the day, and then it's sunny 5 minutes later. But it was beautiful. The parents all got along. I think them not speaking the same language really raises the floor, maybe lowers the ceiling a little bit, but they got along great. It was the first time they've hung out in like 15 years, something like that, and it was terrific. I mean, there wasn't a lot of crazy. It was a very low key and fun week, and the kids got to hang out with both their sets of grandparents the whole time.
Do the kids realize this is like the Olympics of grandparents? Like
No.
it's only happening it's never going to happen for another 4 years, kind of thing.
I didn't want to say that because that raises like, well, why wouldn't it happen again? Yeah, that it was probably a once in a lifetime thing. It probably will never happen again.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. that, it's been 15 years, and they both, they got along very well, and they kept saying, you should come to Massachusetts, and then the answer would be, well, you should come to Japan. But
Sure.
either it's a big hike. So we appreciated and enjoyed it. Saw some friends while we were there. Emika's friends, Mayuko, lives in Honolulu, so we saw them. We saw Evan happen to be in Hawaii. We hung out with him, and it was a beautiful week.
I mean, my grandparents met once, and that was at my college graduation. So it's nice that they got to hang out. You asked me for a book recommendation
right
before you left. You were like, should I read Infinite Jest? And I said, no. It's not a good beach read. You don't want to be flipping to the back of the book trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. I said, read Aunt Kind by Charlie Kaufman, and you...
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
For like 200 or 300 pages. And then it was a slog, and it didn't feel like a great vacation book because I was just like, okay. I laughed more at that book, though, out loud than any book I've ever read in my entire life. So what more can you really ask for?
Exactly. I didn't mind the last 200, 300 pages where you're like, I don't know, this is a fever dream. It's not funny anymore, but I finished it. I liked it. I like it less today. I like it a little bit less right now. The temperature on everything is turned down. Way down. Flowers, they smell like shit right now. And now it's time for, did we get any notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
Towards Milwaukee. There's your fucking note. I dare Bill Burr to ask me for tickets. I fucking dare him. Anthony, I got seats, but they're in the back. Could you mind getting me some a little closer? Fuck out of here. And that was, did we get any notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
And now it's time to take it down to a place that smells like shit, no matter how much sleep I've gotten, or how mad I am, or what I've got going on in the back of my head. It's Email Corner.
Email corner. Emails are a thing. Email corner. Emails. It's email corner.
Guys, emails are a thing. They're a thing. JRVP Junior Vice President at gmail.com. Fucking read them, Gregg.
Our first one is more of a suggestion, and it's questioning our plan to do 3 straight episodes, which we had talked about. And look, I mean, you're clearly, this might be a week where you need some time off. We could have pre-taped for today. We could have pushed the ads and changed the whole schedule this week. But we're talking about when you're in Europe, and we came up with a plan that we're gonna go 3 straight episodes. And he writes, I mean, come on, 3 episodes, 3 weeks, that's not going to be very crazy or really last long enough. 4 hours is a scratch on the surface of depravity. Streamers stream for 13 hours easy. It's not exactly a marathon to go 4 hours. If you're truly committed to go longer, go a whole day. Have a fucking lunch break in between. Have a dinner break too. Go all the way up till your show in the morning. Leave at night like a real working class dude. Makes me sick. You say 4 hours will make you crazy like you're in surgery or something. Get some beers, do some pre-rolls, as Gregg likes to say, not the pre-rolls I'm talking about, and make a day. 4 hours is baby talk if you're talking marathon recording. Go 13 hours and become degenerates for our entertainment.
Who said? Who
Love the pod, by the way.
Who wrote this email?
It didn't include
You're goddamn right, because if
signature.
it did, I'd fucking strangle him right now. I assume it's a guy. If it's whoever you are.
He did finish it by saying love the pod, by the way, and Miss Kim did not include his name, maybe just to protect him.
I'd kill him. Here's the thing. We're not saying we don't want to do 4 in a row because 4 hours is too much work for us. It's not. We could sit here. We could talk for 4 hours. Look, I love it. I love doing this. The thing is, it's like you come in, you talk about what's going on, and then you get into the stories, the emails. Doing that 4 times, it's like acting. You're like pretending at a party, and that becomes unpleasant. It's not about 4. We don't think we're fucking construction workers. We're more important than that. We don't think we're doctors and lawyers. We're more important than that. We're podcasters. And you know what podcasters do?
They podcast.
That's right. That's exactly right. So you can take your we want more of this 24-hour podcasting and shove it into your eyes. Both eyes at the same time. We don't want to hear it. I think we're going to do 4. I think I like the idea of doing 4 in a row. And those are going to be short.
Yeah, and these people that are doing 13-hour streams, it's like they're not bringing the comedy that Jeselnik's bringing. The original entertainment, the energy that it takes to be on.
They're not putting their heart into it the way that I do. You can feel the love.
They're just fucking watching Madden and commenting on it, and that's somehow entertainment.
Don't ever compare me to a fucking Twitch streamer or whatever the fuck, where they're just like looking up into the corner of the screen with a PlayStation 4 controller in their hands. They all suck. They don't have the wherewithal to podcast.
There is something, that you would never want someone that's on camera to be complaining about how hard their life is. But you have to understand, like, that hour of work is different in some indescribable way than if you're just at your desk doing computer work. It's the same reason why you don't do a 10-hour comedy show. It takes a lot out of you. Now, this is not the same thing, but there is I've often thought, like, there should be a word, like the German word for I've done 5 hours worth of 3 different football shows today, and for some reason it feels like the life force has been sucked out of my body, that in a way that is different than doing other kinds of work.
I'll tell you what, there is a German word for, and that's us doing this podcast, and it's called fucking Danke. Danke schön for showing up here. Do you know what I'm pulling in on the road? What's the next question?
I'm a 25-year-old female with genetically bad teeth. My parents have terrible teeth. All my siblings have terrible teeth. I have multiple cavities. No matter how much I brush 3 times a day, floss, oil pull, that's a new thing, and water floss. The dentist says just sometimes it's just genetic luck. Some people get the shit end of it. I want to pull all my teeth out and get dentures. Yay or nay? I know I'm young, but who gives a shit? I shouldn't have to constantly deal with expensive and painful cavities because society says I'm too young to get dentures. Everyone tells me I won't want to do it. I shouldn't do it so early, but no one gives me an actual reason why. Why not?
I think dentures is extreme. Listen, I get it. You don't like something on your body, you can fix it easily. Go ahead and fix it. I would think veneers. I don't know how bad, if your teeth are rotting, you get the things that, like, a lot of people get veneers now, and they argue, like, when should you do it? Should you wait? What's going on? I would maybe consider getting veneers.
But that's
if not for the fact,
I don't think you understand what veneers are.
It's when it's
just like a fake tooth, basically.
Yeah, it's a fake tooth. But if your teeth are rotting and you want better teeth, you don't have to rip them all out. You can get veneers, where they, like, file it down and then put the thing over it. I could never do that because I grind my teeth so hard that they would explode in my mouth the first night I had them. But if you don't like your teeth, get veneers. The reason not to get dentures is because you can never eat, like, the candy again. There's certain things you can never do with dentures that you might not want to do that. If you had to get them, fine, you can live with it. I'd say get even veneers. You can't eat corn on the cob. You have to chop up your apples. There's little things that that will change in your life that I think you might regret it then. If it's just aesthetics, who gives a shit? But I think that you would regret getting dentures if you had to have them for the rest of your life if you're 25. 25 seems too young because you're going to just find things that you can't do. And trying to date with dentures is going to be difficult.
Well, yeah, this, I believe, was a point of contention with her and her boyfriend who doesn't think it's a great idea. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I would want.
They have the implants.
I think the boyfriend can be convinced.
I guess I would want to hear what the doctor says, the dentist. If they're like, that's actually not that crazy, then I would say go for it. Why not?
A dentist will not say rip out all your teeth and have dentures at 25.
I got a veneer on this front tooth, which was a front tooth that been a problem my whole life. I chipped it riding a bike when I was 12 and just keep getting it replaced and chipped off and this and that. I mean, that was the most goddamn painful thing I've ever been through, putting those veneers. Maybe it's just because my that tooth was so sensitive, but it was not a walk in the park. I can't imagine doing your whole teeth. I wouldn't want to spend all that time.
They've gotten better at doing veneers. You don't
just
do them
got
all.
it. But I'm just saying.
I mean, listen, I don't know if veneers are going to do it for her if they're rotting that bad. I would deal with cavities and be able to eat whatever you wanted. You know, like you truly talk to people who have dentures. Talk to some old people and be like, what can't you do that you wish you would taken better care of your teeth? Everyone who has dentures says you want to take better care of your teeth. Take it from me. I've got dentures.
Yeah.
So,
but to her point, she takes care of her teeth perfectly. It's a lot of genetics, and that is kind of the shit end of it. I see it in my own family. One of my children takes perfect care of their teeth. The other takes less care, and the one that works harder at it has much inferior teeth. The other one has perfect teeth all the time. It doesn't matter how little work he puts into it. Sorry, Walker. I know that was a HIPAA violation.
I have like 2 or 3 cavities. I think I got them all when I had braces, and your teeth a little more like you can get things stuck in there. And I got some things in the back.
Our next question's from Angie to me and Miss Kim. This question's for Anthony. I love the way Anthony dances in his chair. Not today. He's not. He exudes confidence, charm, and in the moment, openness. Anthony, do you ever dance that way standing up, or does the magic only happen in that chair?
I occasionally dance standing up. My hips lie. My hips are liars, and so if I can sit in a chair, then I can like move. It's if I have to stand, my hips get involved, and you don't want to see that. If I'm dancing for maybe a couple seconds, Liz might get a thrill. You know, if I try to do that one move I'm always trying to do and can never do, she might like that. But I'm a sit down dancing chair boy.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons we got into like our first sort of argument in college. Your hips lying like a motherfucker.
Stop asking my hips questions, and they'll stop lying. But my hips lie.
Our last one.
My hips are full of shit.
Is from Bree, and she asked for what we thought about a kink that she read on Reddit, and I'll just read it to you. It asks, is it normal that my 23-year-old, she's a 23-year-old, and her 25-year-old boyfriend likes to suck on my boobs like a child? And she goes on, so basically my doubt is in the title. Since we have moved in together, my boyfriend started doing this thing. When he is tired after work, he asks me to, quote, nurse him, when he basically sucks my chest like a toddler would. I initially thought it's like a sexual thing, but normally he just falls asleep in my arms. I don't mind it because I find it cute to see him this vulnerable, but at the same time, it's kind of weird. So I wanted to ask the strangers of the internet if you've ever encountered this situation, or if someone is big on psychology, what could it mean? Just honestly, nothing like this has ever happened to me before. I'm not sure how to react. Thanks in advance.
I think she asked the question respectfully. You know, it's like, hey, I'm not sure, but you did it anonymously. You should never tell your friends about this. This is the most like positive kink I've ever heard.
It's on Reddit.
Yeah, sure, but it's anonymous on Reddit. It's like, yeah, she's like asking people. I think it's like one of those healthy weird things. Like, have I ever done this? No. Do I get it? Sure. Like Aaron, you watch Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
He's unsullied. She's dating an unsullied, and he likes to take a nap after work. That's totally fine. Do you have something to think about when you meet his mom one day? Yes, you do. But I would just take it as a compliment. Appreciate that you must have like amazing knockers for him to do this like every day when he gets home from work. But it's productive. You know where your man is.
Yeah.
You know he's falling asleep in your lap. I think it's great.
Right. I'm a little concerned, like how hard is work really for a 25-year-old that you're that tired after you get home from work. But as kinks go, it seems very wholesome. It seems like, I don't know what she's getting out of it, so it might get a little tiresome day after day that he's just falling asleep.
She gets the satisfaction of like taking care of her man. Like, not everything has to be sexual. It doesn't have to be food. Like, he's getting like his emotional needs filled, and more importantly, falling asleep. If there was a woman out there who could make me fall asleep, I would kick Liz off of a cliff And Liz does help me sleep sometimes. But it sounds like an amazing relationship that you have. Stop telling people about it. Stop it.
She's young and wanting to know what happens here. But I think you look at it too. He's 25 years old, and you think about, when do most guys stop breastfeeding with their mom? I was like 14, 15 or whatever. That decade in between before you find a girlfriend that will do it with you is tough.
That was the worst thing about high school, is that freshman year when you're kind of going through withdrawal. Because you stop breastfeeding. Like I was a little early. I got out at 13. And then by the time you hit 14 in high school, you're just kind of like, you know what I'd rather be doing right now than fucking getting ready for college? Is breastfeeding. Is it normal? No. Is it okay? Yes. And listen, no one's normal. Everyone's got some weird thing. This is a good one. Lock it down. And that was Email Corner. Let's get the fuck out of here.
And that was Email Corner. Diamonds around the world unite. Diamonds around the world unite.
And now it's time for
Ad copy.
Elevate every morning with Tommy John Second Skin underwear. What you put in your pants can make or break your day. I'm wearing it right now, and the luxurious support of Second Skin guarantees everything will go smoothly. We were on vacation, and I wasn't walking around in my Tommy Johns, but I believe I was actually putting the suitcases into the car.
Look,
I was
when you're on vacation with your parents and your in-laws and your wife and your kids, you don't need to wear the underwear. You're paying for the condo. You walk around however you want.
We all split the condos. I was we were saying goodbye. It was one of the last memories in Hawaii, and I guess I was reaching, putting the seats, and my dad checks out what's going on, as dads do, and he was like, "Oh, you really do wear Tommy Johns. It's not just saying that in the ads." And it's like, you're goddamn right, I do. I don't go anywhere without them.
Look, wear Tommy Johns if only as a way to bond with your father. Look, I don't know how I can sell this any harder. I wear really nice things. I try to find the best version of things, and I wear it all the time. Tommy Johns is the underwear I've been wearing for years now. Before they started sponsoring the podcast, well before. I love them. All my underwear are Tommy Johns. They are the most comfortable. They look good. And who gives a fuck how they look, because they're comfortable. You're wearing them. You're a man. Wear Tommy John's underwear. Wear the same underwear as me. I'm not trying to get you to buy the shoes I wear. I'm not trying to get you to buy the jackets that I wear. I'm telling you, I wear Tommy John's underwear, and nothing but Tommy John's underwear, because it's the best. It's always on fucking sale. You can get a ton of it. It kind of like, whatever the material is, it never smells. You can wash it. It stays exactly the same. It seems like a new pair as long as you have them. It's the best. Why am I even trying to convince you? I should just be like, Tommy, name the website. Go fucking do it. And you should go do it. But I'm telling you, it's the only underwear that I wear, and the only underwear I'm ever gonna wear.
Get 20% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/JRVP.
Go buy 100 pairs, and you never have to buy them again. Get 20% off the first order.
Your assets are always covered with Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear, or its free guarantee. Again, save 20% on Second Skin at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. TommyJohn.com/JRVP. See site for details.
Feels good, smells good, looks good. It's what I wear. Don't you want to wear the underwear that I do?
This show is.
What if we had one of those big novelty pairs of underwear that two of us could fit into? Would you wear those with me? I think you would. God damn it.
This show is also sponsored by BetterHelp. Look, I've been talking about BetterHelp for a while, noting that it doesn't need to be a serious mental health crisis for you to try to seek help and have a therapist through BetterHelp. It could just be something work-related. You could say, my co-host of my podcast we've done for a long time seems to love this underwear company more than his co-host, that he's more committed to the underwear company and excited for the first time all day. He really comes alive talking about this underwear company when I'm sitting right in front of him and he's threatening me to end the show. You could talk about stuff like that.
My mental health is tip top.
If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, start with BetterHelp. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, suited to your schedule, and you just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. You can switch therapists at any time. Look, you can talk about how much you want to go out, how much socializing is right for you, how much you need to recharge. Maybe you are working too hard, like the Jeseltron, and you need a little better work-life balance. Your therapist can help you out with that. Find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JRVP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JRVP. Want to talk about Joy Mode? Gentlemen, 15 minutes or less is great when you're talking about pizza delivery, not when you're talking about your performance in the bedroom. That's why we've partnered with our friends at Joy Mode. Gone are the days of sketchy gas station erection pills and the worst kind of side effects that you can imagine, like that 4-hour erection and heart problems. That's where Joy Mode comes in. Their sexual performance booster. It's all natural. It's science-backed. It's a supplement that helps you out. You simply mix it with 6 to 8 ounces of water 45 minutes before sexual activity, and you watch the magic unfold. Be the new sheriff in the bedroom. Go to usejoymode.com for 20% off with the code JRVP. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code JRVP at usejoymode.com. Ingredients with integrity. Joy Mode. Now, I don't want to give anything away, but for our YouTube listeners, I think you just saw Anthony pop a Joy Mode in the middle of the ad. Like, he just couldn't wait. Who knows what the rest of the show is going to be like.
How did you know it was Joy Mode?
Okay, I guess I didn't know. Look, Joy Mode is the only supplement for bedroom performance that also supports blood vessel support, athletic performance, blood pressure. It's good for you regardless, even if you're not going into the bedroom. I don't know about you. I'm never going to go back to prescription drugs after trying Joy Mode. Do you really want to chew on something blue? It just, the whole thing doesn't make sense. It's small enough to fit in your wallet. Go to usejoymode.com. Get 20% off with the code JRVP at checkout. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code JRVP at usejoymode.com. Code JRVP.
And that was
Ad copy.
Let's get to fucking headlines.
Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines.
We start the news in the Netherlands, where a 9-year-old kid went on a solo trip to the petting zoo, always a red flag, and strangled 9 rabbits and 2 guinea pigs to death.
Okay. Like, I saw the headline.
Finally, Anthony's happy here.
I laughed so hard when I saw this headline. The fact, like, listen, a little kid going to a petting zoo solo is unheard of. It is unheard of. It's something they make you do as a kid. But to go and strangle not 1, but 9 rabbits and 2 guinea pigs, that ain't easy. It's not as easy as you think.
No. I mean, I wouldn't think it was easy. I wouldn't think it'd be easy to strangle 1 rabbit. They're squirrely. I mean, they're rabbity. They hop around. Plus, at some point you would think, you consciously think, I'm crushing a rabbit's neck. That's pretty fucked up.
I wonder if he just grabbed it and, like, wrang the neck, like he's breaking a chicken's neck. I don't know how you actually do it, but 9, that's 11 animals that he got before they caught him. It wasn't like he killed 9 and then walked off and they're like, hey, let's check.
Right, after the first 2, you would think the word would get around about between the rabbits. Watch out for this kid.
Yeah, who's working the door at the petting zoo? They dropped the ball completely. What did they do? What do you do to a 9-year-old boy who comes to your petting zoo and just starts strangling motherfuckers? That is a lot. That's a lot.
Like, not a goddamn thing. This is an I'm not going to say nothing, but they found a loophole in the system. He's so young that they're like, he has to take a class and, but he's not going to jail.
You got to take a class that's like, here's how fucking crazy you are. Here's what you could have done in the time you strangled those animals. This kid is going to be a serial killer unless he stopped right now.
He's enrolled, into a care program is what they called it.
I don't know. I don't know when they started that. I don't know if it was like a pre-Hitler thing, but they don't have the best track record. Where's this again? What country?
The Netherlands.
The Netherlands. Okay. Hitler was from nearby. It tracks. It's batshit. I don't know who let the kid in. A 9-year-old boy shows up at the petting zoo alone. You're not getting in here. We know what you're going to do. You know how many petting zoos I've been turned away from?
If the fact that he went alone, so he had gone previously as part of a trip with the school or something, or with his family. I think it was with the school, and so I guess he sort of cased the joint. Like he knew where to go, he knew what it was, and then he, I don't know what the Netherlands is like, but I imagine this town, it's just a bunch of fields and farms, and so he just walked over to this place, snuck in, and he got him. Two guinea pigs, 9 rabbits, and they said he showed no emotion during or before or after.
What do you think is scarier? A 9-year-old boy strangling 11 animals showing no emotion, or a 9-year-old strangling 11 animals crying the whole time? Weeping uncontrollably as he picks up one after the other and strangles them. I want to know how big the place was. What did he try? Did he try to sneak out the corpses? Did he stop on his own volition, or did he get caught in the middle of it? Because it sounds like he got all the rabbits and then was just starting on the guinea pigs when they caught him.
That sounds about right. They didn't say that, but they did say it wasn't the first time it's happened. A psychiatrist was interviewed for this article and, said she feels sorry for the animals, but also for the little boy who apparently feels so bad that he has to do this. You got to check out what's going on at home with old Patrick Bateman Jr. here.
You got to talk to him about how was his Easter, because I got to think he had a bad one. I got to think he had a rough fucking Easter to go in and start strangling everyone he knows.
So I don't know what's up with this petting zoo, but they said it's not the first time that their animals have been attacked. They said previously the sheep were shot with bows and arrows. Sorry for laughing, but this is just preposterous. This is adding their udders were pulled and goats were shaken by their horns, and it's supposedly there's a new trend where children are torturing and killing animals as part of a WhatsApp group.
I don't think it's a new trend. I think it's something that happens from time to time. What kind of music are they playing in the petting zoo that's making people do this? That's fucked up. The bow and arrow thing, sure. I get it. A 9-year-old strangling 11 animals is... I blame the staff. I can't blame the kid.
How do you get past 3 before they stop you?
I know.
I mean, at least Lenny.
Well, who's they?
I
think he's in a part of the petting zoo. No one's around for that part of the day or whatever. Maybe it's closed. I don't know what's
Little
going on.
kid, you want to hurt an animal, something's wrong with you. You want to hurt as many animals as you can before you get caught. You gots to go.
Yeah.
I tell you this, banned from petting zoos for life.
Okay.
Only regular zoos, and try that shit with a lion, see what happens.
I just wanted to make a note, Aaron. Next time Anthony's kind of in a mood before the show, just start with the petting zoo murder strangles, because that'll put him in the great mood.
That would have changed the whole tenor of the podcast if you had just brought that up right at the beginning. If your intro had been 9-year-old kills 11 animals, I would have been in a much better mood. And now let's see if we can keep that momentum going. But that first headline is fucking over.
A student persuaded by his friend to get his legs amputated for a potential $1.3 million insurance scam wound up seeing that number cut down to the nub, getting only $7,200 that he now has to return because he's being charged with fraud.
Where's this? What country?
I believe it's in Taiwan. Yeah.
Okay. How old were they?
23 is the...
And
yeah,
so the one student convinces his friend.
Yeah.
He says, amputate your legs.
Yeah.
And you'll get $1.3 million.
Yeah.
Is he splitting it with the other person?
Yeah, I don't know why this guy is such a good friend. The best friend, really. Obviously, you get the money, But he's making quite a bigger sacrifice. His friend apparently was in for a lot of monies in some sort of cryptocurrency scam. But yeah, I don't know how the friend got involved, but he did.
Like, Greg, I got a great idea of how you can make $650,000.
Yeah.
And I can make $650,000. You want to hear it?
Sure.
You amputate your legs. And then you split the money with me. Why are you falling for that? Like, it's crazy to think you would get $1.3 million for amputating your legs, but to decide you're going to give someone a finder's fee for bringing you this information is you deserve it. What were they students of?
Well, they had just graduated from college. I'm not sure what they
weren't like in
majored
med school.
Yeah. I don't think so, because they didn't really think this through too long. And it was very easy for the investigators to figure out that there was something fishy going on. So what he did was he plunged his feet into a bucket of dry ice for more than 10 hours to get them so badly frostbitten that he would need a double amputation. Okay, I guess that's one way to require it. But they didn't cover their tracks at all. His legs bore no shoe or sock marks. His injuries appeared symmetrical, which they said would not happen if you actually had frostbite. Like it, and the weather, and this is the thing that really gets me. When they were explaining it, they were like, "Oh, I was driving around on my motorcycle, and it just got so cold. I was driving around forever, and it got so cold that this is what happened." It was 42 degrees Fahrenheit. It was not that cold.
I mean, I'm stunned. Listen, if it was like, hey, we'll get $1.3 million if you let me chop off your legs right now, it's going to happen quick. You know what I mean? Whatever it's happening fast. It's going to hurt. Soaking your legs for 10 hours in dry ice. Have you ever picked up dry ice? Have you ever touched it?
No.
It burns to the touch. It's the kind of thing, if you try to pick it up, you immediately drop it and you never touch dry ice again. The 10 hours is insane. I changed my mind on this. Give him the 1.3.
Yes.
Give him the 1.3, and the guy who talked him into it, 2.6. It's too good. It's like, have you ever heard the phrase or the saying? I forget who said this. I wasn't the class clown in high school. I was the class joker. The class clown is the guy who runs across the football field naked at halftime. The class joker is the guy who talks him into it. We got a clown and a joker here.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I mean, the Joker, I don't know what he is getting trouble for, but I really love this statement from the Bureau who investigated it. Quote, as Taiwan is a subtropical region, cases of severe frostbite requiring amputation are unheard of due to natural climatic conditions. I mean, that is part of it, that they didn't really seem to think through. Why would anyone have frostbite in a warm environment?
And why would you think if you get frostbite, you get your legs cut off and then you get $1.3 million?
Well, and just days before, they bought several expensive insurance policies. So they didn't plan this out. A couple days before, they got life insurance, travel insurance, accident insurance, and then they took they said they took this motorcycle bike. They did somehow get $7,200 from one of the insurance companies. This has gone through courts for a while. But they have been, in addition to getting charged for fraud and I believe having to go to jail, they have to return the $7,200. I feel like punishing them now is unnecessary. It didn't work. That was punishment enough.
Yeah. You should have to go around to high schools and talk to them about what you did.
I think it's just like, even Steven. The world got your two legs back? I don't know. They could use the legs for something.
Even Steven. Okay. Aaron, that's the title of the podcast.
I've got other options. Harvard University. Now every time I heard Harvard, I think of, do you remember the joke in Aunt Kind where there was also a Harvard University, but spelled with an E that now I forget what they did at Harvard University, but classic Kaufman.
Loved it. I mean, Kaufman, not a big fan of Judd Apatow, not a big fan of...
See, you said that, and there was a lot of jokes... the different names of the Judd Apatow movies.
Being a teenage comedian is hard was my favorite one.
It's amazing, but there were people in the book that he kept hammering over and over that I don't know if he was even necessarily making fun of. It was just funny. But maybe he
I don't know if he was making fun of Judd Apatow or just the critic that he was trashing. Like,
yes.
I mean, that book he is tasting. That's about one critic that he hates, and the critic hates Charlie Kaufman but loves Judd Apatow. So it was like he was just going overboard.
Was it
into
Richard? So Richard Brody, I think, from The New Yorker. Is that the one?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Harvard University made the curious decision last week to remove the human skin binding from the book Destinies of the Soul from the 1800s, late 1800s, which was clearly the most badass reason to own the book Destinies of the Soul.
It's the only reason. What are you doing this for? This is woke nonsense. And again, I've never been like, oh, why are they all diversity is a disease? But this is insane. Like, the guy is dead. Whoever they took the skin from is long gone, and their only claim to fame in the afterlife is that they're part of this book.
Right.
Is that the spines on this book, and then you take it away. If they are in heaven, they're mad about this for sure. What are you doing with it now? Did they bury it? Did they burn it?
No, they actually said, to your point, I wouldn't want to use the word woke necessarily, but the most ridiculous part of this story is that they said they're planning to conduct additional biographical and provenance research into the anonymous female patient which was used. So they don't know whose skin it was, but they're going to go a step further and try to find out whose it was to try to make it up to them.
Yeah, like why? I mean, if you're trying to do it for like scientific reasons, let's see what would have happened. Okay. But we're going to let them know. We're going to pay reparations is wild. I think it ruins the book. If you got a problem with the book you're reading being bound in human skin, that's what Kindles are for. You don't need to ruin it for everybody else. Imagine if you were the guy who was next in line to check it out, and then you get it, and you're like, what the fuck is this? If you went through the trouble of binding a book in human skin, you did it for a reason. Leave it there forever. You made it to Harvard.
Yeah, so a little backstory. Destinies de l'âme, which is a French book. It's a meditation on the soul and life after death. It was written by Arsène Houssaye. I may be pronouncing it wrong, definitely. But he was said to have given it to his friend, who was a doctor, who then reportedly bound the book with the skin of one of his from the body of an unclaimed female patient who had died of natural causes. And he just thought, he was quoted as saying that a book about the human soul deserved to have a human covering. I mean, that's a badass friend. You give your friend a book, and he's gonna, make it even better by binding it with one of his patients.
He didn't read the book and get inspired. He's been trying to bind everything in human skin for quite some time. It was like, oh, I borrowed your lawnmower. I brought it back. I covered it in human skin for you while I had it. I got no problem with it. I got no problem with human skin on a book.
No, it's like the best.
How old's the book?
It's like It's like getting a rookie card. It's rare. Oh, it's like a rookie card with a little bit of an error
I just looked it up. The book was published in 1973. So and that's a time when anything kind of went in the community when you're making a book. Books are important, and no book is more important than one bound in human skin. Harvard should have gotten rid of the book, given it to someone else who can appreciate a book about the soul made in human skin.
I can't imagine the book is that noteworthy. I thought the binding is what made it noteworthy. I'm not really sure, but apparently this has been popping up in different museums because there's not many of these human skin book binding books left because the woke mob is saying it's not right. And here's what Harvard said, quote, after careful studies, stakeholder engagement, and consideration, Harvard Library, blah, 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 concluded the human remains used is no longer there due to the ethically fraught nature of the book's origins.
I'm sick of this woke bullshit. When I was a kid, every book I read was bound in human skin, and that turned out fine. We're being overprotective.
Last headline.
Thank God this episode is almost over.
A businesswoman in the UK last week was trying to watch a funeral on Zoom while she was in the shower, as one does, before realizing she was accidentally broadcasting herself with all her naughty bits to all the other remote mourners who were following the service online.
She's lying. She wanted people to watch her bathe. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Can you name another time you have watched a funeral on Zoom while you showered? You know what you may as well do? Just turn off your computer. You're not watching the funeral. You were naked in front of a camera. I don't believe her for 1 second. This is a lie.
She showed up, according to witnesses, at the wake and was crying her eyes out and said she had no idea what happened, that people there told her what happened, that she didn't realize that it was a mistake. It was a classic, mom mistake of leaving the camera on.
She is lying. It's too convenient. She had her computer set up in front of her shower and then got up and lathered her shit up during the funeral. I thought it was she'd set up a Zoom thing. She's talking on it, and then it ends, and she gets up and she goes and showers and had left it on somehow. Yeah. This is like the funeral starts with her she's crying, and she's like, and then hits mute, and then gets in the fucking shower. Yeah. I don't believe a word.
I started to get a little suspicious when she started singing like "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" while sudsing herself. It seems true.
That's the song you came up with. That's the example you wanted to use for what she would sing in the shower is "Happy Birthday, Mr. President." Aaron, the title is "Happy Birthday, Mr. President." You can fucking print it now. No, I don't believe she knew the deceased. She's a freak.
You know what I should have said?
And I'm here for it.
Which song I should have said? Hips Don't Lie.
I mean, I guess it would, in some small way, it would have been better than "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" as your sexy song. Oh, and now it's time for
Choo choo
recommendation station. It can't come quickly enough. Greg, what do you got?
Recommend a couple things quickly. Dirtbag Massachusetts, I really enjoy. I listened to the audiobook for a lot of it. It's by Isaac Fitzgerald. Anthony recommended it a long time ago. Kind of became friendly with the author. A good memoir. And then I also wanted to shout out Waxahachie, who I've talked about before on this show, following up a classic album, an album that kind of changed my life in the pandemic. She waited 4 years till her next album. I think it's always very hard to follow up like an album that changed a lot of people's lives, including hers. She had done 5 or 6 albums. She's in her mid-30s, and this really changed her career. And then she followed up with another banger, Tiger's Blood, which is very much, to me, in the same vein of her last album, kind of a Lucinda Williams country sound to it, but just like really good songs. Listen to a lot of it while driving in Hawaii. It's a perfect kind of front-to-back song. She's like indie country. Why are you looking at me like this?
I'm just trying to find a way to work in "Happy Birthday, Mr. President."
Okay.
See if she covered that one.
She did not. But yeah, a great follow-up to St. Cloud. I mean, nothing to me is going to match that. But to follow up one great album with another, I'm glad she waited so long to do it. I'm looking forward to seeing her in concert. Waxahachie.
I fucking dare you to have a third recommendation. I dare you to make this longer. Your portion of it.
We could talk Ankind again, I guess.
I'm good. But no, Dirtbag Massachusetts, Isaac Fitzgerald, great book. I think it would be an amazing audiobook. And of course, Ankind by Charlie Kaufman. The funniest book I've ever read in my life. I've said it multiple times. Gregg waited 5 years. 4 years.
It's like 800 pages, so I don't break those big old books out all that often. I like to do it on vacation because you have time to actually like crank through it.
Who's the funniest person you know?
Bill Burr?
You don't know Bill Burr.
You are, buddy.
That's right. So when I say we read a lot of books, we read the same books, you like to laugh, and I say this is the funniest book I've ever read, and you're like, oh, in 4 years.
That's fine. That's the good thing about books, that unless you die in between, which there's always a risk, they're going to be sitting waiting for you for the right time.
I can't argue with that. That is the good thing about books. I'm going to recommend one book this week, and I was telling Aaron when I walked in here, I got one for you, Aaron. I read this. This just came out a couple days ago, and it's opening day. It was last week. I picked up Charlie Hustle, The Rise and Fall of Pete Rose and the Last Glory Days of Baseball by Keith O'Brien. Great book. We know what happened to Pete. We know what Pete was all about. It's great to see. The book almost proves like why he would think he could get away with it for so long, and the tragedy of his refusal to kind of come clean and escape with less damage to himself than he did. Great book. I read it in like 2 days.
Wow.
It's a quick read and very very interesting. Aaron, have you heard of this book?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, we're going to have the author on another pod
Oh, really?
next week.
Yeah, tell him I loved it and recommended it on the pod, and that I want free books. I don't know Keith O'Brien. Have you ever heard of Keith O'Brien?
No.
Apparently great sports. I assume he's a baseball guy, but this book is fantastic and clearly heavily researched. Aaron, do you have anything you want to recommend?
I rewatched Heat again, and I say again because I've seen it a bunch, and every time it hits. Play it loud. Hear those gunshots. But man, it's so good.
Heat's incredible. Did you know that they show in the military? They show footage of Val Kilmer in that movie.
Yeah, reloading.
Reloading.
As a training exercise.
Yeah, I think that's insane. Love that movie. Love Michael Mann movies. Have you seen Ferrari?
Haven't seen Ferrari.
Ferrari's great. People slept on Ferrari. It's a dude movie. You know how fucking Air was like a dad movie? That's like the new thing, dad movies. Sometimes it's just a dude movie. It's like a dad movie for younger dudes. And that's Ferrari. It's awesome. I would love to watch it again. Michael Mann is amazing. And that was Recommendation Station Walker. Get me out of here.
Whoa, Nelly Focaccia, that's a spicy meatball.